We're live? Oh, excellent. Welcome, everyone. Let's get in here, Max. Come on, nuzzle in here. Come on.
Are we gonna need some introductions?
Yeah, we should do something. Good call. I wouldn't have thought of that.
People should know me.
We'll start from the left here.
I'm Joseph McMaster.
He is Joseph McMaster. He was Joseph McMaster. I'm Max Brudvig.
Aaron Surway.
Adam Adams.
That
Yeah.
name is not real.
It's a fake name.
That's not a
fake
fake name.
news.
It
Fake news.
honestly
I'm
sounds like
fake
something
news.
you would make up as you walk in.
Adam
What's your name?
Adams.
Adam Miss.
You know,
Did you ever get accused of that where you're like making
yeah,
up a
of
name?
course. Everybody. It's like, it's not real because it isn't. It's a fake name.
It's clearly a fake name.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well,
He's not telling us his real name. That's fine.
it's fine. We're going to stay incognito on this one.
Adam is.
We'll
We
table
don't-
this
It is my real
discussion
name.
about Adam's name.
I should have like a
Yeah, we can.
a real
come back to
fake
it.
name,
Obviously,
like
it's
Adam
gonna be revisited.
Smith.
A real fake
Oh.
name?
Yeah, like,
Adam Smith? That's not any better.
that sounds made up.
That is an absolute.
We'll go with Adam Smith.
Adam Smith. Fine.
Let's go with Adam Smith.
Fine. Sure. We'll go with that.
Yeah, be named after the very
I'm not going to
famous
complain
thinker
like I usually do.
in some
Okay.
field I can't remember.
Okay, now that we've decided on Adam's name,
Thank God.
I think we're going to talk about comedies today.
All right.
Comedy as a genre, and comedy films.
All right. Well, let's.
So you were talking a pretty strong opinion earlier about comedies.
Oh, you
about
know me.
modern
I
comedies.
have
Yeah.
heightened opinions about comedies.
Yeah,
right
what
now.
do you think about
I
it?
don't like them.
You don't like comedies.
No, I didn't say I don't like modern comedies. I'm saying I don't like comedies in general. I just think comedies just kind of suck.
Like,
They're all-
Like how horror sucks. Like,
So I think the best way to describe it, I was talking with a couple people beforehand. It's comedy is great. It's like a little like a flavoring to something. It's not good on its own. You know, like if you put a ketchup on a hot dog, it's great. If you eat a bowl of ketchup, you're fucking crazy. And if you say you like it, you know, please get away from me. I feel like you're gonna steal my identity. So
You're talking about bad comedy, right?
wait,
So
what's the ketchup bowl? Is that the,
what's the
explain the metaphor.
It's ketchup bowl is like Judd Apatow. It's just there.
Judd Apatow?
What are you
Yep,
talking about, man?
That's all it is.
All right, so like, look at Superbad.
I
And
feel like recent Judd Apatow. He's had some
Okay,
good
let's
stuff.
let's
Yeah,
talk like
40-year-old
like,
virgin, for
Yeah, that
instance.
was a good
Okay,
movie.
okay, fine, sure, fine. What about recently? What has been good recently?
Okay, what is he even done? Is he responsible for all those Kevin Hart rock movies?
Most definitely. So it's
Because if he is, then I
like
see your point.
every single like Jason Bateman movie where he did like by himself is like I honestly
You gotta watch
Okay, wait,
Game
let's
Night,
back up
man.
to so he's the
Okay.
ketchup.
okay so
He's the ketchup.
let's start with this. I'm a person where I watch a movie fully, even if I hate it, so I can visually say like I hate it, because like I don't want to like
You
ever
wanna know
like
for sure
stop
that you hate
halfway through and say like, oh, it actually gets better towards the second half, and then I'm just an idiot giving my opinion. I wait to listen to the whole movie. Like Jason, what was that movie with Jason Bateman and like Melissa McCarthy, and she steals his identity? Yeah. What was it? It was called,
I think it's called Identity Thief.
oh god, I hate my fucking self. So in Identity, that's the only movie in my entire life that I just stopped watching.
I think
Because
you're
I
just
watched
looking
it
at the
for a
wrong comedies there, buddy.
I listened. It was like
Yeah,
15
well-
minutes, and I didn't
Well,
laugh.
we were saying
and
before, like there are bad mainstream comedies, but like, are you going to consider like Coen Brother movies? Are you going to
Are
consider
you gonna
those?
consider
that's
Shakespeare
not a
bad
comedy.
like
Ooh,
yeah, Shakespeare,
Going
some of the
Shakespeare
old
garbage?
some of the old Greek masters.
But he's not only comedy. Like it's not like the Coen Brothers. Like you're not like, oh, you want to go see a good comedy movie and you put on Oh Brother Where Art Thou. That's not a comedy movie. That's the Odyssey. That's the like it's an adventure. It's like Guardians of the Galaxy. It's or like any Marvel movie that exists. It's all like comedy spiced in there
Ooh,
with a little
Thor
bit of action.
Ragnarok was a fantastic comedy.
What?
Thor Ragnarok was a fantastic comedy.
But there was action in there. It was an action.
Oh, yeah, it's
it was,
action
it was
comedy.
pseudo action comedy stuff. It's
So what-
not pure comedy.
but you're saying that if a comedy has action in it, it's no longer a comedy.
No,
Like comedy is just anything funny.
Yeah,
in a movie,
comedy is
right?
just like the diametric well, not really diametric opposite of drama, but it's like things are either dramatic or comedic.
Yeah. Like you don't have to like American Psycho was funny. in some parts, but it
What
was
the fuck
great.
is wrong with you, man? What the
Really.
fuck is wrong with
Nobody
you?
thought American Psycho was funny.
Oh,
at all.
You like that
No, it was
hanger scene,
definitely
don't you,
funny.
you weirdo?
Yo, the best scene was
Fucking
like
creep.
where he was looking at the business card. He's like, ugh.
Or when he's just like explaining the virtues of
Wait, that doesn't
like,
piss you off when someone comes with a
Phil
better...
Collins era Genesis
What's that?
in American Psycho, and like
Oh yeah,
Bale's like explaining like how great like Invisible Touch is by Genesis as opposed to like earlier Genesis.
yeah. It's also like that's the like dry humor. It's
Yeah,
like
a film can have comedic elements. It doesn't make
Exactly.
American Psycho a comedy.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so...
American Psycho is definitely not a
It's-
comedy.
I would argue though that like
rip-roaring laughter, American Psycho. I got
three comedies. Like
Name one comedy they made.
okay, Inside Llewyn Davis, I would argue is a comedy. It's a dark comedy.
Inside Llewyn Davis.
Inside Llewyn Davis is a comedy.
Don't know what that is.
And it's about a
It's
phone.
another Coen Brothers movie.
It's another Coen Brothers.
Guys,
Yeah,
you
I'd
have
say-
to
I'd say
understand,
they're-
like,
they're
I-
comedic directors.
That was Oscar
Not
nominated,
smart.
right?
Not smart understanding things.
I think.
I'm just here for the context. I'm the sandpaper for every single one
Just
of you guys.
grinding. I just
grinding away slowly.
I grind down conversations
Using
over
the
time,
So
So you guys are just a bunch of nubbies.
but you will notice me.
So it sounds like we have a clear discrepancy of like the definition of a comedic movie, right?
Yeah, what makes,
So
some, what
what's
makes, something,
comedy
what makes
movie?
something a comedy?
Like, are you thinking just like comedy movies that's just like almost purely comedy?
Like
That's like more
Yeah.
era specific.
Like it's marketed as like a like you can market it like it's marketed as a comedy. You know, like any like Will Ferrell movie is usually marketed as a comedy. Like
Okay.
Talladega Nights is not a dramatic story about a
No,
man
it is, though.
overcoming his inability and like achieving his dream.
but it really
Your mouth.
is though.
Yeah,
Adamus has a point.
Like, the
It is
plots
though.
are the same between like a comedy and a drama. It's just how you present it.
But
Well,
you don't
Talladega Nights.
Comedy is drama in disguise, right? Like that's what they always say that about comedy. So Talladega Nights is telling like the joke story of like American culture,
I
right?
can't
It's
wait. What are the finer points on Fist Fight
with Ice Cube.
with Ice Cube and
Charlie Day.
Charlie
It's,
Day?
it's,
Yeah, tell me
it's
that.
introspective to
I've not
schools
seen
and
them.
bullying.
Oh, is that what it's,
Translated to
that's
adults.
what
I
it's
actually
all
thought
about.
That one is like that one's a little bit off, but like if you look at Talladega Nights, it's like it's kind of like throwing a slap in the face of like how stupid and like over the top everything is, and it's funny,
How
but it makes you think about America. Like it makes you think about modern
but
culture.
That's the
what's-
purpose of satire in general.
Yeah, exactly.
So wait,
That's it.
Talladega
It's
Nights is satirical. Of what? Of what?
of shake and bake, dude. Like of NASCAR.
I thought you were going to
I have
insult
to
the
rewatch
Brett.
it.
I thought you were going to insult the Brett. I did not come here prepared to discuss the finer points and the moralistic virtues of
When I
Talladega
watched
Nights.
it for the first
I didn't
time,
know we were
I
going
was
to go
looking for
there.
satire.
No, it's like it's him being over the top. Like it's him being excessive in a certain way. So you didn't
So
like
just because
actually.
something over the top and excessive, it's brilliant comedy.
No, it's not brilliant.
Should we,
It's just good.
let's ask the audience: Is Talladega Nights a drama or a comedy? What do you think?
There we
Kind
go.
of wasting
I
their
like it. Well, that's why comedy is dead,
What?
and we murdered it.
Oh, what was it? What was it?
So
We got comments probably about me talking about
given
nonsense.
Talladega Nights is the best movie,
I wasn't
but
watching
it's- I got a bunch of laughs out of that one. Did you guys hate it?
I laughed at it when I was 16.
Yeah. So what? That's you laughed at it.
When I was 16.
What does that have to do with anything?
I-
Your age.
Yeah, it totally does have to deal with your age. When I was 16, I wasn't getting laid, and I was sitting there running around being a dumbass, and just like trying to impress people randomly. I wasn't I was dumb.
I know, but you got an
I was full of
entertainment
hormones.
value of it.
I teach 16-year-olds every single day, and if they are seen as the intellectual and moral equivalent, like just like that's the pinnacle of moral intellectual ability, and they define what's funny. I'm sorry, like I just lost.
What's funny to you?
What's funny?
What brings you joy in life? You're
Nothing,
just a
nothing.
complainer.
I am a black hole of
Yeah, a
misery
black hole of
and
just
sadness, and I
negativity.
don't
Yeah, you
like
didn't say you liked
any
his
what do you
boobs
want?
earlier.
We know that you don't like mainstream comedies. What would you consider to be an acceptable comedy within the past 25 years?
25 years.
Yeah, going back.
How far does that go back? I'm gonna get
25,
depressed.
you can get in some solid comedies
old as
going
you.
that far.
That would be nice.
Okay, let's
That
go
would be
back.
94.
Actually, no, make it 35 years.
35 years. Okay.
So yeah, 80.
I think comedies that have stood the test of time and I like it's like anything like with pretty much like Gene Wilder. I love him. I love Blazing Saddles.
Like,
Oh my God,
I love,
funniest actors of all
I
time.
love Airplane. I love
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. He's great.
Oh yeah, I love
Charlie and Chocolate Factory was not a comedy.
Oh wait, what?
No,
One,
I don't know.
like
It's not
Murder
really
Children
just
Party?
a yeah.
That's
pop
more like a
drama.
children's drama.
Yeah.
But
comedy
so,
sprinkled
so
in.
like
He was a comedic character though.
Yeah.
and then
Walker,
and then
for sure.
and then like Monty Python. Like you
Oh,
can
yeah.
watch that at any point in time, and it's fucking funny.
Well, do you
Right? It's not like there's it's
Yeah.
like oh you had to be there at the time for it a little bit for it.
Well-
It's just silly and funny and stupid, and it's great for anything. So like
So what separates that from Step Brothers?
Is there a
Talladega
modern day
Nights?
Monty
Yeah,
Python?
what
Is anyone doing
separates
that?
the quality? And
Is
if it's
anyone doing
funny,
Monty
it's stupid,
Python
it doesn't
quality
make any
stuff
sense.
today?
It's ridiculous. Your 16-year-old self would laugh at it. Like, what separates it all?
I think there's like
And you're-
I think there's like funnier that like there's the level of like and there's a subtle level of like absurdity where it's okay. There's
That doesn't exist in Step Brothers or Talladega
like,
Nights?
there's a level of absurdity where like I mean
That's the whole premise of like Step Brothers. Like, how
Exactly.
absurd would it be for like two 40-year-old men just like living at home with their parents?
I
Just,
see
like,
what you're saying though. I can't quite give Step Brothers the same level of comedic ratings as Monty Python.
these other things, and it's not because of age, you know, like where I can both like I mean like let's think of like when did Monty Python like Life of Brian come out and the Blazing Saddles? Did they come around the same time? Am I just like am I? In love
I
with a
actually
certain
didn't
time
like
period?
Blazing Saddles. I mean, I wouldn't say I
Hasn't
didn't
aged
like
well.
it. I think it doesn't age well.
Does
That's,
not age
that's,
well.
that's,
I'd
a
say
good,
that's all about
that's a good way to put it. Like, I wouldn't say I didn't like it,
See,
but like,
He's done some other good stuff.
Like this is the funny thing like about comedy, and I was mentioning this before, where like everyone describes it as like, are they pushing it too far? Like you always hear like South Park and comedy and things like that. Sorry, I'm not speaking to the mic.
But isn't there all-
Where it's like they speak as if like we are constantly pushing a barrier, where comedy is actually like ebbed and flowed like crazily throughout time. Where like I mean, let's think about it. There's stuff in like Airplane where it's like full frontal nudity, like very high levels of racism. Where we like today, like that movie couldn't get made at all ever. If you pitched that would like be dead on the floor, dead on
None
the
of
line.
that would have made it to a theater.
No, absolutely
Well,
not.
some of it.
But and,
Most
like,
of it
and,
wouldn't.
and I was talking with like my mom about this because she loves comedies as well, and she's like, yeah, but she's like, Aaron, like the movies you watch, like, and she's like, being honest, like talk about like gay individuals, and that never came up ever in a movie. And as soon as you like talk about being gay, it's like it got like a rated R or an X rating. So
Right.
comedy is not like this. It's not this like pushing boundaries. It's this weird ebb and flow of what's acceptable.
what would you say about television? Like comedy television.
Like comedy, like. Wait, is this your own subtle way of getting into like Everybody Loves Raymond? Because I'm not falling into that
Oh,
trap.
no.
again.
Always tries to.
Joe always tries to get this to
I've
Everybody
never
Loves
seen
Raymond.
Everybody Loves Raymond. I was gonna say like modern day like golden comedy of like TV right now is like part of what defines like the golden age of TV that's going on right now. Like there's
Yeah.
Atlanta, there's The Good Place.
Stop!
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Stop! If you add Everybody Loves Raymond, I'm going to be pissed at you. You know that. I'm
just
waiting for
said
that,
it.
Joe. I'm waiting. Does he slip
Just
that in
said
there?
it. Slipped it in there. You
I
didn't hear
couldn't.
it?
Like I said, I've never seen Everybody Loves
Right,
Raymond.
oh, you said it. You said it again. He said it again. Clearly, he loves Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, I could not describe to you a single thing other than the fact that there is a man named Raymond in there that everybody seems to love for some reason.
That's the twist. No
Like
one
a guy,
loves
Raymond.
Raymond.
See,
I don't know.
that.
I think
Everybody hates
you're
Chris, it's a good
judging
show.
comedies too hard here, man.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, it's
I'm just a judgmental
Yeah, man.
asshole. That's what I am. I'm just.
if you can get a laugh out of it, if it brings somebody a smile, if it brings certain things to light and changes the course of history, like,
Aw,
oh,
that's
It
cute.
also
As
sounds like
long
you're
as it
very
makes
hung
one
up on
Adam
like
smile.
comedies
One
that
Adam
are more
smile.
like time
Smith, sorry.
specific, like comedies that encapsulate like a certain time.
What's a comedy that? What's it called? Troll 2.
Yeah, that's,
That encapsulates a time period.
yes. How horrible! Like how
so
an Italian film director in Utah can create what he
What are you
thinks
talking
is a
about?
masterpiece.
what about like Ghostbusters? Is Ghostbusters a comedy or is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a comedy.
Yeah, you didn't like Ghostbusters?
Do I can like quote Ghostbusters, but like that's like there's a personal connection like to that. It's
Yeah,
not
it's a
like
good comedy.
I don't know
What about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
which one. Are you talking about the live action ones with the extra like makeup
No.
and like
The Legend of the Ooze or whatever.
Oh,
First
the
of
one
all,
where they
the Legend of the
oh,
Ooze
the one where they rap?
is Power Rangers movie that came out, the live action.
No,
Power
the
Rangers.
Secret of the Ooze or whatever.
No, you know what? Both have made a porno, so it doesn't matter. So
I would not say that the most recent Power Rangers movie was trying to be a comedy. It was trying too hard to be dramatic while also trying to ape The Breakfast Club at the same time.
Breakfast Club. Is that a comedy?
I would say that's a comedy,
Yeah, that's a great comedy.
coming of age.
but also
story.
encapsulates like a period of time.
Yeah, in the same vein as like Dazed and Confused. I know that's a
That's one of my favorite movies. Yeah,
Ferris Bueller's Day
Ferris
Off.
Bueller's Day
that's
Off.
another.
Okay,
one, yeah.
let's talk about recent comedy then. Bring up one that is like that is.
All right, one could argue that The Favorite has some comedic value in it,
Anything-
and that's an
I mean,
Oscar-nominated
anything
movie.
by Yorgos
Don't
Lanthimos is
bring
going to
up
be
movies
comedic.
I don't know. You know I'm not high class.
Oh,
I
sorry.
sit at home and I eat ramen and watch reruns of the Transformers. Leave me alone. I'm not good at it.
So you're saying you're a podcaster? The
So
Pick one.
pick one.
Pick one. Somebody want to hop in?
Is there like a comment or something?
I think I'm the only controversial speaker.
Switch
Adam Smith, what are you doing in here still?
Yeah. Get some.
I love you, Adam. Love you.
I guess we're subbing Adam
We're
out.
subbing,
Are
doing some
everybody
subs.
in?
Coming in?
Come in. Come on in.
Yeah. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Mary. I just moved to Chicago from San Diego, so I don't know any of you all. But
Welcome,
nice
Mary.
to- Thank you.
It's cold and awful here.
It is, and I hear that tomorrow it's going to be a high of 1. So,
Is that with wind chill, or
I'm
it's actually
going
going to be
home.
1 degree?
Yeah, you just gotta go back. Get away from this place. It's a frozen hellscape. It's a low circle of hell. Dante's Inferno. It's a cold circle, and it sucks.
I don't know,
It's gonna get worse before it gets better.
I think it's actually pretty cool. So far, I think I'm okay.
Okay.
I got a good jacket, got some gloves, and thick socks. I'll be okay.
Honestly, like people from like the Midwest, like sit there and like act like. Sorry, I'll get speaking the mic again. I'm bad at this.
I mean,
People from the Midwest like get like the biggest boners and believing like, oh man, we exist. You can't handle our cold and everything. Like as soon as like you I love like there's like people who like you like start talking like, oh yeah, it's 33. It's pretty fucking chilly outside. You get something in the Midwest. Oh, you don't know what cold is. It's like fuck them. We've all experienced cold. We know what temperature.
there's a lot of cold
We're fine.
gatekeeping that goes around.
Yeah,
Around here.
and they walk around in shorts and they're like, oh, I'm fine. It's like, no, you're not. You're weird. Go home.
Yeah.
Eat some more mac and cheese and come outside and
Yep, but I do have to say there's a lot to do here. There's a lot of film stuff going on here.
There's a lot.
So far, so good.
In true Midwest fashion, we've covered the weather. Now let's get into comedy.
right. That's
So I don't understand the negativity about comedies, though, because, I mean, I'm not really a huge fan of comedy, but I do think that there's a lot of merit in comedy at times because it makes certain things palatable. Like, you've got things like Easy A, which, what was the, I don't know.
Was that with Emma
Yeah, Emma Stone, yeah.
That was on
but it was
Emma
like-
Stone. It's
But
like
the-
basically
it took some
it's like a
really
modern
great
adaptation of
literature
the
and made it
Scarlet Letter.
palatable for, the young girl audience that would never have read, the Scarlet Letter ever. So I think
It's an awful book.
On that note, I would also talk about
It's like trying to deep throat a 2x4 the entire time. It's just awful. No
okay,
one
I
likes
just met you. You've said nothing positive about anything. Are you?
I know I'm actually a very positive person. I smile a lot. I swear to God, I'm just dead inside. Just rotten wood all the way down.
Oh, so you smile
There's
a lot.
termites. There's termites. It's just awful.
Aaron, you smile like Jack Nicholson in Batman.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not a good.
So no,
But arguably a very contagious smile.
so
So
no,
do you
I-
think it's frivolous,
no, I-
or
I-
do
no,
you
I think
write it off? Like,
I think it is a great thing to sprinkle into a movie. It's a great thing to be a part of it. It adds to it. Like having a little bit of humor lightens the scenario. And at some points, if you like add like this level of like even like humor and kind of like it adds to it and makes it even sometimes even creepy. Like I think of like Reservoir Dogs and the torture scene
Yes,
where he's trying to be funny
Yes.
and it's supposed to be humorous and like, it's
Arguably
a joke.
comedy.
Funny.
Arguably all of Quentin Tarantino's
Honestly,
movies are
well,
comedies.
rip-roaring laughter, all of Reservoir Dogs. No, like that's supposed to be funny, but it turns off as like creepy, and that's important, and but it's a good little like comedic play. Whether
But
it's
there
to
were
make
a lot of things in Pulp Fiction that were actually very funny, and I do think
yeah.
that Pulp
It's a
Fiction
hilarious
in a lot
story.
of times is marketed as a comedy.
Kill
And-
Bill, hilarious
Yep. Well,
for the majority of the
there
movie.
was a lot of funny in there, but it was also extremely good filmmaking. I mean, I don't think you can argue that either of those two films
No,
are not
it's brilliant
Right.
films, great
I
films,
think-
enjoyable. But at the end of the day, if I was asking you, Kill Bill, is it a comedy or an action film? You would have to lean towards action film, right?
And you
Why-
can
Action,
Jason
why-
calling it.
action comedy.
Yeah, but then you get into
Really?
Dwayne the Rock Johnson
I
territory.
think I'm not saying you would say it's a comedy action, but it's not. You would not say it's just a pure comedy,
Okay,
right?
I'll give you that, but I don't understand why the distinction. Though I don't understand why that's the issue.
I mean,
I guess my big question is that you seem to be sort of down on comedies, but is there a reason to be down on comedies?
no, I love comedies.
Okay.
I
You
like.
really
I
don't
like
sound
laughing.
like it.
I enjoy laughing. I just want to. I want to sit at home and laugh, but I can't.
You just laugh at, like-
I found there have been movies that are like have like a mixture of either it's action or romance. Not romance. Never rom coms.
Yeah.
I don't. Never mind.
So-
Throwing that away. Like action or like there's like a little bit of humor mixed in, and it works great. Like I was just talking before. I think like In Bruges is like
Yes.
it's
Yes,
they're
that's a
they're
great
they're
movie.
funny.
Yeah.
But it's dark and it's like it's just
Odd.
good.
It's just odd.
It's just
Yeah.
good. It's odd. Like the whole scene where I don't know the actor's name because I'm not good at this.
Brendan
The
Gleeson
Voldemort
and
and
Ralph
Mad-Eye
Fiennes,
Moody.
or
I
Fiennes, or however you
like
pronounce
Harry
it.
Potter terms are at the upper ends of the stairs and they're arguing like, okay, I'm gonna jump out the window and like we can't shoot this pregnant woman and they're like, all right, well like we won't have a shootout. I'm gonna jump out the window and then you have a fair shot at shooting me. And if you miss, well let me continue this. Is it all right? Are you gonna go? Wait, are you not gonna go? Because then we're gonna come back and we're gonna do all like that's a fun scene. It's like
Yeah, I think you have a beef with how movies are marketed because the movies that you would laugh the most at probably aren't called comedies.
yeah, probably.
But they serve the purpose of making you laugh the most, so that makes them. That's a comedy.
But like let's think of like what's a modern day comedy that recently has come out.
Like Death
right
of
now,
Stalin.
Stalin was a great movie and definitely a comedy.
Haven't seen that yet.
What?
Haven't seen that yet. Death of Stalin.
It came out in April. It was a while ago.
It's by the guy. It's by Armando Iannucci, who is like behind a Veep.
He directed it or
He
produced it?
wrote it.
Yeah.
He wrote it at the very least. I'm pretty sure he also directed it.
Yeah, and but it wouldn't be marketed alongside of Get Out or Get Hard or whatever latest Kevin Hart movie.
Oh, Get Hard.
Those are two completely different films, but
Yeah.
they're both comedies. But you
I
would
mean,
hate one of them and
Like,
like
I mean,
the other.
like pure comedies. When people say like a pure comedy, like where it's like,
But it's
this
no
is a
such thing as a
comedy,
pure comedy.
where its main, well, like where its main objective is to make you laugh.
Sure.
Like, that's
Well,
all it is.
okay, so there are a lot of, in quotes, comedy movies that I find horribly insulting. I want nothing to do with. As somebody that appreciates film, I need a little bit more substance. So I wonder if that's kind of the thing that you're looking for, is you want substance. And there's a lot of, in quotes, comedies that are like for the lowest common denominator, they're for the masses, and they're not, there is no, it's just pulp. It's not, there's nothing.
It's a bowl of ketchup. That's what I said.
Exactly,
It's a
right.
bowl of ketchup.
So you're
and
right.
you just eat
And in
that.
that sense, I would totally agree with you. But I do think that there's a lot of merit in the comedy genre. But yeah, I mean, and maybe there are fewer and more far between. But I do think that there's like major, amazing films that I think add to the sort of the body of work that is like classic cinema that I think is necessary. So I don't want to just write them off in hand, but I do totally agree with you. The vast majority of what you would call a comedy, oh my god, it's just, especially as a female, I was like, no, I can't watch that. I can't watch it and be comfortable.
Name one comedy that's good. Name just one pure comedy.
We just did Death of Stalin, good movie.
Okay, let's. Okay, one. Name another.
So are you just saying like name a
Big
movie
Lebowski.
that you like?
Okay, you named Death of Stalin and Big Lebowski. Literally like a 20-year difference.
Yeah, two great films, two great comedies.
That's like it's like, oh, we have a baseball player who's been going up for 20 years and they've
Okay,
only
you
hit
want
2
one?
home
You need
runs.
one in between. There's been some good animated comedies, I would argue. Would you consider Pixar's movies to be comedies, or those animated
No,
dramas?
those are like toy. I cried at Toy Story 3.
Yeah, it's not a comedy.
That's not sold as just a comedy.
No.
Wait,
But-
what would you call it then?
And Toy Story 3 is it's a drama mixed with comedy made for kids. It's a blend of multiple things. There's a lot of humor in it, yes, but it's not a comedy.
Okay. Okay, so what is your definition then of comedy?
That
will define comedy before this filter.
where the only exclusive thing, the only thing it does is it's aiming to make you laugh.
Wet Hot
all it
American
does.
Summer.
Ooh,
What?
Wet Hot American Summer. That's one. That's between Big Lebowski, Death of Stalin. It's a great comedy.
That is a good comedy. I will say that.
The
yes.
Big Lebowski is? Oh, God.
Big
I haven't seen
Lebowski and Hot Wet American Summer.
I would also offer
Yeah.
Office Space.
it.
That was all.
Office Space,
that was-
also good. Oh, Shaun of the Dead. He's not
And- okay, I do enjoy. That's my soft spot. Is Eddie
Yeah.
what's the we said Edgar, right?
Edgar Wright.
That'd be right.
Any
The 40-year-old virgin.
I
think there's a lot of good comedies.
I really do. I think but I think
Yeah.
you're going to argue that it's not just a comedy. I think you're going to say it's also a love story. It's
Yeah,
also
it's
a
also a
romance.
romance.
It's a coming of age really late. I
Yeah,
think-
very late. Exactly. So there's a mixture of all these things, and you can have pure romance movie, like where Harry's Met Sally is a pure romance movie, pretty much,
with some humor.
with like a little dash of humor in there. I would
Well,
say,
it's a rom-com.
but let's say it's a rom com. It's
Oh.
around like
Anything
40s,
by Wes
50s
Anderson.
romance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, everything by Wes Anderson.
That's supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
just
Life
don't-
Aquatic is funny.
You just don't get it.
You don't understand
Yeah.
Wes.
You
You
just
don't
don't
think the
understand
Grand Budapest Hotel is funny?
I call him Wes.
You know,
You know
I
him.
like these movies, but I never laughed in a Wes Anderson film.
I laughed at
enjoy
Life
them,
Aquatic.
but it's not funny.
Ooh.
I've
Inherent
breathed
Vice.
heavily.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
in
Oh,
his
it's so
films.
funny.
Because that's not
Yeah.
laughter.
Isn't it like a? I don't want to spoil
I've
the
never done
conversation.
that knee slapping stuff.
Have you guys Inherent Vice? Have you seen it with Joaquin Phoenix? No.
I guess I will.
Yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson flick starring
Oh, it's
Joaquin
Phoenix.
Phoenix based off a Thomas Pynchon novel about just like this. It's basically like
It's the Big Lebowski, right? Essentially.
it's kind of like that. It's
like a
like
dude
a
character?
detective who's just a stoner who gets involved in like numerous cases.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not good at films. I'm trying.
Stick to comedy.
Stick to comedy.
it is a comedy.
Would you? He's a comedian.
I'm not.
Yeah. He will be soon.
I'm more of a guy who gets drunk in a chair and talks, and that's all I do.
Yeah.
And that's okay too. So, have you guys ever made a comedy?
No.
We recently
I
made
would-
make a comedy
we did
film.
recently create a really bad short film in a day
If that counts.
called Death Cast.
That it counts.
Does that count?
It does count.
We yeah,
I'm adding to the problem, aren't I?
Oh,
Critical shit, aren't I?
I'm
I'll string it.
right now.
we made like 3 comedies.
Stop me now.
Yeah.
Okay, but really, like, how hard do you think it's harder to make a dramedy? I mean, a drama or a comedy? Like, really, like, I think making a comedy
Comedy.
might be harder.
I think a comedy is harder because, like, we all when it comes to drama and being upset and there's a running narrative. I think that everyone, we all want to be better. We all have the same problems. We all have the same there's a hero's journey of we are trying to become better people at the end because most of
In
us
a drama, you're saying?
And with a drama, yeah, we want to be better. Everyone, there's very few people who sit there and I am happy where I'm at and I'm good where I'm at and I don't want to move on. Comedy, you have to hit everyone has their own personal flavor of what they enjoy is funny because what some person might find is
Yeah.
funny, the other person might find
Well, you
either
could,
offensive or just not
You can
funny
argue
at all.
the same with drama
Like,
though.
You could argue there's a formula to comedy similar to drama.
When is a drama upsetting someone?
Doesn't have to.
When is it upsetting someone?
Dramas upset people.
When?
What are you saying?
Name one. Name one.
One upsetting drama.
I don't know.
Schindler's List.
Well, there you go.
That
Life
upset
is
people.
beautiful.
Wait.
All the
You're
Nazi
upset.
movies.
You're upset after Schindler's List?
You were not. What are you, a monster?
It didn't make you feel good.
Just I didn't feel great at the end of it.
Oh, another great comedy. Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping.
What is it?
Oh, with yeah.
The Lonely Island
Oh,
movie.
yeah. I haven't seen it.
The movie's so fucking funny.
Which movie is it?
Hot Rod.
Yeah.
Oh, Hot Rod. Oh, yeah.
No,
Not
Popstar.
Hot Rod.
It's a
like,
Popstar.
Popstar.
The
Never
same
saw that.
people behind Hot Rod made a movie about a pop star who's you just gotta watch it.
You just gotta.
Okay, I will
It's a
sit
very
down.
underrated comedy.
I will get drunk and watch that, and
Do it. That's the way how you should watch it.
I will come forward with my very cynical review as always because I'm just
That's the way it is.
just awful. That's all I am.
It all sucks.
Okay. So I just looked up on. I just googled the best comedy movies of 2018, and I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm looking
Is
at
it
these
looking
movies.
sharp?
No, it's looking like crap. Like these are not movies
What?
that I
Name
feel
some
like
of
Can,
them.
can you
Yeah,
name,
let's hear
name
the
a
best
couple of
comedy
movies?
of
Yeah.
2018.
Game Night.
Game Night was great.
It's a Jason Bateman movie. Stop! You'll make me angry.
Game Night was better than it should be.
Jason
What's
Bateman shouldn't be a comedian,
Blockers?
but
What is that movie?
yes.
Blockers is actually really good too.
Okay, I
Like
don't know
it
it.
actually has a really good message at the end.
And
What's the
You're
message?
not gonna spoil it. Just tell us what it is.
Basically,
I'm loving
the
this
idea is,
positivity coming from.
It basically show like Blockers
Right.
ends like showing that like it's the parents who need to grow up. Like they need to accept that the fact that their children are growing up and are their own people.
I'm sitting between a positive force that finds the good in everything and the void of anger and cynicism.
It's
And I'm somewhere.
I would highly
raising.
recommend
That's all I'm
both
gonna
Game
say.
Night
I was
and
raised wrong.
Blockers.
Okay.
Both are much better than they should have been. Like I didn't
Sure.
think they were going to be good when I first saw the trailers for them, but then I heard like the reviews and I checked them out. I was like, holy shit, these are actually good movies.
What about Sorry to Bother You? What is that?
I've still yet to see
I
that
have not
one.
seen that, but
And so, at least what I know of it thus far, all right, it's basically the guy in there. He's African American. He is a telephone caller. He basically he doesn't do well at his job, and eventually another black guy tells him like, "Hey, you know what? Like, you got to use your white voice." And basically, he uses when he starts talking, it's David Cross's voice coming out of his mouth. And so like he starts making a whole bunch of money, but then I hear it gets like really weird, but like weird in like an interesting way. So
I mean, Lakeith Stanfield's like previous big role before that was Atlanta, which is Twin Peaks for rappers. So it's not all that surprising.
Okay, so I'm scrolling through this list and I'm not seeing a whole
Name-
lot. That's
name
great.
some others.
I'm seeing Show Dogs.
Sorry, what?
Show Dogs? Like seriously, like the movie poster is a bunch of dogs. And
oh, is that the movie with Cuban Gooding Jr. and he's got dogs and he's
I don't know. It's a white guy, but I can't tell who it is.
That's not Cuban Gooding Jr. Then.
It's not. There's a movie called Dear Dictator. It looks like Michael Caine and some hot girl. I
It
don't
sounds
know.
like an
Do you know who that is?
No, don't know.
Okay,
that sounds
I've
like
never heard of it.
like
Bad cover.
An LA Minute with.
I don't know who these people.
But
Wait,
you
what?
would recognize him, the Irish dude. Is it Griffin Dunn? No, not that. What is his name? Gabriel Byrne.
I've
And
not heard of that
again,
movie.
some hot girl.
And Kelsey Clemens. I don't know who that is.
Okay, let's see if there's anything on here we know. I'm like skipping Happy Time Murders. No, Overboard. That's
That was already a movie though.
on
wasn't
the
it?
first. Yeah, it's a
It was a
remake.
movie. It was a remake
It
of a
was
movie that was okay.
Kurt Russell and somebody. Oh
But like, isn't it like?
wait. Here's a movie called The Clapper with Ed Helms and Amanda with Seyfried. However you say her name. Like those are two really good comedic actors. So I've never heard of it.
Haven't heard of that movie.
Night School. There you go, Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I've never
There's
yeah,
your
seen
dude.
Saw Night School.
So like, I think we've gone through our phase of like, there are these comedians who just know like, oh my god, everyone likes my movie. I'm just gonna show up. Like it was like, I think it was like Adam Sandler. Well, it started off with Eddie Murphy,
Yeah.
and Chris Farley, and then it became like Adam Sandler, and then,
This new brand of comedy.
yeah,
that's
but it's like it's like oh, this person's in it. You show up to watch it, and then it's like Will Ferrell, and then it was Zach Galifianakis, and then it was Melissa McCarthy,
Right.
and now it's Kevin Hart. Like that's what it is. It's like you would call it like a Kevin Hart film.
And
You
you
would
look
call
for
it a
that
Melissa
character.
McCarthy.
Like you're looking for that same. You don't expect any character arc. You don't expect anything. You just want to see that humor.
Like,
all the
like,
way
don't
through.
That's what you'll get in
Character,
Blockers.
it's not gonna
It's the same thing. It's like oh
It's
look
a
at
nice character arc.
Look at Will
For
Ferrell's
everyone.
going to take his shirt off and do something ridiculous. Oh, look, Zach Galifianakis is just going to act like The Hangover the entire time.
Yeah.
Oh, Melissa McCarthy is going to do some physical comedy. Oh, look, here comes Kevin
You
Hart.
mean you didn't enjoy the Happy Time Murders?
Okay, I have a question.
It's the same thing over and over again.
Okay, so because now we're kind of also talking about comedy and comedians and like types of comedy and like what's acceptable. Okay, I'm just gonna throw this out there to you because
Right out there.
I'm looking at
Lob it.
I Feel Pretty Amy Schumer.
Amy Schumer.
Okay, so how do you feel about her? Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to see one of her movies.
I honestly
Like,
don't
her
really see
first movie actually kind of had some heart to it.
I'm not too familiar with her
I
comedy.
don't see anything
Heart
really with
to it.
Amy Schumer in it. So I can't really give like a
She's just
great.
crass. It's like it's not. As a woman, I'm like,
What do you
really?
like? What do you like, crass?
I just mean she just gets drunk and has sex and talks about her vagina. Like I think there should be a little bit more
Right.
to a character.
It's not original. It's not original. It's honestly not. If you do
It's
the same-
very different from where comedy came from, but it's drawing in viewers clearly.
I mean, the people.
Which is famous.
I mean, people like.
There were a lot of jokes that I could have just said there that all had to do with vagina, and I restrained. So I just think I deserved a little bit of.
It's like if a guy just talks about his dick the entire time. You
And
know
they
what I'm saying?
do.
And they do. We do. Yeah,
We do.
it's fair.
There's a
Fair
very
enough.
rich mind.
Fair enough.
Do that.
People have been
But-
mining that. Well, mine since ancient
that's
Greece.
definitely her. The character of like I don't want to be tied down. This like very anti traditional role of what a female is, where like I don't want to be in a relationship. I want to be the one who just wants to have sex. And I want to get drunk, and I want to be irresponsible.
Right.
I want to be like a guy.
Pushing
Like
comedy.
that level. Okay, we got that
In
in
a
train. We got
sense.
that in Trainwreck, and it's like, okay, what are you gonna do next?
Not a
And it's like,
movie, but in
oh,
that
I'm gonna do a
case,
movie. I'm gonna be the same
Exactly.
No, and-
and that's the same problem with, okay, Zach Galifianakis, what are you going to do? I'm going to be weird, and I'm going to say weird shit. Okay, what are you going to do? Just going to continue that. It's like, okay, well, do something new. Like,
So what I'm hearing then is the problem really isn't the comedy genre. The problem is Hollywood hiring comedians to just do their shtick.
It's what people
for
respond
90
to,
minutes.
though. It's
That's
what
right.
people respond to, and if people
So
respond
it's
to
the
Amy
market.
Schumer, then they're going to
look
make
for
more
It's
Amy
like-
Schumer.
indie comedies.
It's the people's fault.
Yeah,
we all suck.
You gotta
Welcome,
look for
guys.
indie
Welcome to the
comedies.
bottom of the pit. I dragged you here.
Look for the stuff that comes out of film festivals, comedy-wise.
yeah. There's good comedy out there.
There's some really good stuff that
I
comes
mean,
out
you
of
can't
there.
even compare Amy Schumer to something like Monty Python. They come from completely different.
That's very
Comedic
true.
realms.
So Monty Python's back 70s.
It's based on
80s.
absurdity, I would say.
True. So
Not pushing
is there that
boundaries.
kind of absurdity today? Like, is there an
I would say so.
equivalent?
On YouTube skits primarily, I would say if the closest thing to Monty Python probably exists on YouTube channels. Honestly, the Workaholics before they started their show had a pretty absurd YouTube channel. Loiter Squad had a great YouTube channel. What I know, Donald Glover had a big YouTube channel before, and that's where people are kind of allowed to be as weird as Monty Python was. I would say.
But they won't make commercial films.
It hasn't not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of. It hasn't translated into any YouTube style absurdity in mainstream films that I can think of.
It's a risk then, because if it's like a weird comedy and a weird like, no one's gonna want to fucking pick that up.
Yeah.
No one's gonna want to touch that because it's all about like what do like people actually like. There's come up here,
Get in there. Take
come
a
up here,
quick, steal it. It's gone.
steal it.
Hello,
Oh, we have a hostile
took it
takeover.
over. Hostile takeover.
Introduce yourself.
my name is Brian, and I'm from Germany, so I'm not a native speaker. So if I say something weird, I'm sorry.
That's just an excuse to say anything you want.
Don't yeah.
You're not
yeah, right.
really licensed
Like,
to be weird.
For the Pokemon movie,
I actually haven't.
With the Detective Pikachu,
Yes.
with Ryan Reynolds,
yes.
kind of freaks me out a little bit, but I'm okay with it.
It's like, so my theory is that after this movie, we will get a whole wave of YouTube movies, where it's just like, what was in a YouTube clip
You think so?
in a joke 10 years ago will be a movie. I'm
I
telling
hope
you.
that happens. Are you happy about this development?
I don't know. I feel the same way as you do, where I'm like
Yeah.
torn between being like, my body is rejecting this, and at the same time, I'm really curious. What's happening?
It's a fascination with
That's
abomination.
I'm sorry, but that's
You
called
just
food
gotta see it.
poisoning. Don't get into that right now, man.
It's something you ate.
You avoid that. It's like, well, I just put it in my body, but it's doesn't feel good.
No, I think if you had some of that like weird creativity that you saw and still see in YouTube channels translate over to film, it might work as long as it was like a sketch film, like a Monty Python style movie. Like a Monty Python movie is broken up into sketches. Like sure, there's a story. It's the same thing as with Wet Hot American Summer. Those are extended sketches. It goes from one sketch. They make sure that the bit about the knight getting his arm cut off is funny, and then it goes into you make sure that the bit about Wang the witch is funny, and it's just like the French guy in the castle is funny. It's like those aren't necessary probably for
So
the
then
story.
the joke can't get old. The
Right.
joke's done.
You know you're gonna
Yeah.
get another sketch. It's the same thing with Wet Hot American Summer. It's just a bunch of sketches that are tied together pretty well.
Have you?
Or something out of like the 90s, and now you look at him, it's just like it's almost just weird and gross, like what he yells about, because he was pushing on specific issues. He was like balancing the line that existed like at that time, but like you said, comedy ebbs and flows. So now he's like floating way out here in no man's land.
Yeah.
You come and revisit, and you're like,
Yeah,
what?
not funny.
But if you create something absurd that doesn't involve like pushing any boundary, it's like that was already in the middle of nowhere, and it was funny all by itself over there.
Or if you tap into that every man day kind of thing like Ferris Bueller. Let's face it,
Right.
every kid can relate to wanting to take a day off of work and, school and ditching
Sure.
and whatever. I think that certain things like that are just inherent in our personalities, that's what will sustain and that's what will last. But there's a lot of stuff that's like, it's just not funny anymore.
I feel like the whole concept of like pushing boundaries, I think in the year like 2019 it just doesn't work anymore, because we've reached a point where like what taboo are you gonna break? Like we've had pink flamingos, we've had people eating shit from the ground. Like what do you even want to do? So I feel like many comedians today, like bad comedians, even use it as an excuse to just just pretend they're breaking taboos by just saying like, oh, actually black people are horrible, and that's like the joke. And they just say, oh yeah, I'm breaking a taboo, but they're just like racist.
It's not funny to be controversial for the sake of controversy. Well, I mean, it is to some people. But I think humor needs to come from a place of like genuine creativity, in some sense. Like it can't just be saying something controversial. There needs to be you can put a creative spin on something controversial and make it funny. I'll agree with that. But if you're just saying something outrageous, then you're probably just